Alright, sports fans, today I'm going to go over the Nagant Revolver, model 1895, designed by the brothers Leon and Emil Nagant in the 1890s, approved for Russian service 1895, and it's the one revolver that you can truly suppress because the cylinder moves forward, and it's actually... And I'll go in a little bit more depth here in a second. But one of my projects is I've got a chunk of PSL barrel. It's an old quote-unquote shot-out barrel. See if you can see the rifling. The rifling is still pretty good. Not the world's greatest shot, but I'm going to turn it down to fit the Nagant Revolver, and I will get a longer barrel for it. And in the process of turning it down, I'll get rid of a lot of these little pinholes and whatnot. But make a longer barrel, rethread it, redo the sight. I'll have to machine all this stuff in there. The little step to hold in your ejector slash center guide rod, because this rod actually does a couple different things. For one, it serves as kind of a center point for the cylinder retainer. That and the center rod are what hold in the cylinder. And how the cylinder works is this little bit is spring loaded, and as you can see, it's got these little machine cutouts, and they actually sit, let's see if I can't get a better pointer, they actually seat themselves right in here, and that's why the barrel sticks in so far. And because there's mill syrup round, commercial round, both 7.62 by 38 round, and they sit like that. Now they stick out just enough. Well, what happens is, and I'll show you how this works in a minute, there's a transfer bar safety type arm that pushes the cylinder forward when you cock it. And when it does that, it seats this little bit of cartridge inside, right in here. And when it fires, it will expand, and it'll almost be a perfectly straight cartridge instead of this little bevel in here, or this basically a shoulder here. It'll be straight. And 100% gas seal every shot. Now, part of the mechanism that makes it work is there is this little pedestal. And you'll see it moving forward right there. It's moving back and forth on the top. That pushes against the base of the cartridge, and it pushes everything forward. And then when you pull the trigger, the hammer will fall and hit the firing pin, but as soon as you let off pressure, you actually can't physically move the hammer forward. So it behaves a lot like a transfer bar safety on some of the modern revolvers. So extremely safe and effective, and that's part of why these things have such a horrendous trigger pull, because this particular revolver has a single action trigger pull of about 6 pounds, which I know some people are out there cringing and other people are like, well, that's not bad. Well, the double action trigger pull is 26 pounds, and I've measured it on a trigger pull gauge. That's this particular revolver, because the main spring in here has to fight through all this. So you have to rotate and push forward and drop the hammer. Rotate the cylinder, push it forward, drop the hammer. Versus drop the hammer. So this could be one of my many projects, is making a barrel. It's not going to be a bull barrel. I'm going to match the profile as closely as I can, up to and including the sight hump up there. and I'm going to have to take this all apart. And barrels are easy to take apart. I think it's 13 millimeter by 1.25 millimeter thread pattern on the frame end of the barrel, and then I actually threaded this barrel 14-1 left hand. It's got a little Tapco muzzle brake on there to protect the threads. But that's the Nagant Revolver, designed in the 1890s by Leon and Emil Nagant. Russian sidearm from 1895 to pretty much the end of World War II. It's a $99 handgun. It's cheap. I don't mind experimenting with it. See, something like this is, if it was like a 1900 officer's issue, I wouldn't be doing this, but I don't really care because this is a 44 made Nagant. It was already rough. The bore shot out. Screw it. I want to play with it. So that's the Nagant Revolver.